Despite the fact that Tesla had one of the best days in its history last week, there are tons of people who are extremely unhappy with them for a couple of other reasons. Now, I will tell you all about this specific reason, which had to do with Autopilot and full self-driving feature, and we'll look at the positives and negatives here, as always, coming up next. Taking over the world, electrifying the world, E4 Electric! Welcome to E4 Electric, your number one source of unbiased electric car news. Go ahead and click on that subscribe button so that way you won't miss anything and we'll stay up to date with all of those exciting news and become a part of this community. All right, so let's talk about this. Now, I know this is the thumbnail for this video, but you probably have seen something similar before, and that's because I do have another pretty much identical a thumbnail about another problem that people are pissed off about as well. Now, there's another video about these literally protests, mainly in China and Taiwan, and that's a whole different issue. But right now, let's talk about the people who are pissed off about the autopilot. So here's what happened. As you know, there's a couple of two upgrades for the autopilot: enhanced autopilot and full self-driving package, which is not even out there yet. You kind of buying it now, and then whenever it comes to availability and it's approved by regulators, then you can get it as soon as that happens. And Tesla used to offer it at two different prices. Obviously, if you get it right away, you pay less. But then if you decide to upgrade later, probably when it comes out, then you're going to pay a little bit more. And I don't know why, but lots of people bought the full self-driving package. I personally think they won't see it until pretty much the end of their ownership, especially if it's around 3 years or so, like for a regular lease. But listen, it's everyone's choice. That's cool. But what happened now is that after the $35,000 Model 3 unveiling, Tesla did a lot of price changes, and one of them is that they dropped the price for the advanced and full self-driving packages. And people who bought it before said, "Wait a second, we paid all this money, we haven't even gotten anything for it, and now you're punishing early adopters. People can just get it now for much cheaper." So, for example, the advanced advanced autopilot and full self-driving package together, it was, I believe, $8,000 if you buy it right away, and then $10,000 if you would get it later. So the whole point was to actually get people to buy it up front, and if you buy it later, more expensive. Kind of makes sense, right? Well, now after all of this, you can get the same thing for only $5,000. So that's $3,000 cheaper than you would if you would have bought it back in the day as an early adopter. And a lot of people are pretty pissed off about it. And on top of that, if you want to upgrade, if you have an advanced autopilot now, and if you want to upgrade, it used to cost you, I believe, $4,000 and then $5,000, but now it's only $3,000, which is once again cheaper than it used to be. And again, I'm kind of trying to navigate through these prices because there is no like history of all of this, and it's been changed so many times that I can't remember or find this information. But this is a general consensus on this. As a matter of fact, I'm just checking. Someone is just getting back to me right now who knows the pricing, and yeah, so it's people are pissed off. Now here's a tweet from Elon Musk that was in response of this, and now someone named Raul, and I'll just put it full screen, said, "I know being an early adopter comes with risks, but this one does not make any sense. Having to pay $8,000 for enhanced autopilot plus full self-driving when I helped make the product better by sharing all my data versus $5,000 for full self-driving now seems unfair." Now, Elon replied, "We're trying to make EVs and autonomy more affordable over time. This is the right thing to do. However, we cannot then also retroactively make earlier buyers whole without killing the company." Okay, now most people call BS on this because they're saying, "Well, listen, but I helped, and now you're kind of screwing me over, and you're saying, well, it is what it is." And it is what it is, right? You are dealing with Elon Musk and Tesla, and you kind of should be aware of that. But here's a really weird thing, because Elon said that if you bought enhanced autopilot Full self-driving upgrade costs 2,000 instead of 5,000. That's the problem is. But if you look at the Tesla's blog post on their website, and I'm gonna put it up full screen again, here it says full self-driving capability for an additional $3,000. So really, even Elon and his own website at tesla.com are not even able to agree on what the, and this is why I'm kind of struggling. Like normally I like giving you guys pretty straight up numbers, but it's almost impossible to track it because as you can see, even right now, we don't know. Is it 2,000 or is it 3,000? The bottom line here is this. People are pissed because, again, Tesla sold something to them that really wasn't there and then told them that it's going to be more expensive when if they wait, and it turned out to be less expensive when those people who waited got it now. And obviously, let me know in the comment section. I'm wondering, would you be pissed off as well? Do you think this is a problem or not? So, of course, let's now move on to positives and negatives, just like every story has. Now, obviously, it's kind of hard to come up with positives here when people are losing money, complaining, and so forth. But the only positive is, and I kind of have to go with what Elon is saying there, is that, listen, this is how progress works. And, Tesla innovates very quickly, unlike other companies. Whenever they come up with something, they put it out there, and then they have to adjust prices depending on, what it is and how fast they were moving. And they have to invest into their future, into their customers' features. And I totally dig that. And I mean, it's right now, Tesla is one of the very, very few companies just in the world, not just automakers, just generally speaking, who have adopted this kind of like, hey, we'll give you whatever the latest is right now. And obviously, they're struggling to navigate the pricing features of it. But at the same time, you know who you're dealing with. At least most, I think, people now know who they're dealing with. And that's the cost of innovation and progress. Now, let's now get back to the negatives. And of course, people losing money is a problem. People losing trust in a company, especially when a company tells you something, like buy the full self-driving package, and if you don't pay for it right now, it will be more expensive in the future, and you do that, and then it's actually less expensive in the future. Obviously, you lose trust. Now we're talking about it. People who are thinking about buying a Tesla right now is probably doubting. I am one of them because like my lease is expiring in 4 weeks, and even though I am pretty set on getting an Audi e-tron, I am having some doubts, but we'll see. One of my options is that I'm still open to is getting another Tesla. And after seeing all of this, and just like I said, my other videos about another problem, when there are protests now about the major price drop, in China they dropped the prices for up to $100,000, so people got their cars devalued overnight. This all ruins the trust in the company, and even this whole a non-dealer approach to sales, right? We always were told like, hey, listen, we're not going to be one of those dealerships that are you have to haggle and then change price. It's going to be the same price for everybody. It's going to be very simple. But now it's turning out to be not very simple at all. And I would take a predictable pricing and sort of how my car prices and values are going down over the years. Even though I have to maybe spend a day or two haggling of unpleasant interaction with dealers over something where I buy it and overnight it can be completely different tomorrow. Well, I mean, and let me know in the comment section, guys. I'm open to suggestions. I know not everybody is actually as upset, but I think I know that most people, even huge fans, are upset about at least one of those things. And of course, the history that goes all the way to 2012 that I've experienced with the delivery fees that I paid, even though I picked the car up myself from the factory. That's definitely an issue. So let me know in the comment section. Where do you stand, and if you're a current owner or not. Of course, I also want to give a quick shout out to one of my newer Patreons, Yerem Hopkins. Thank you so much for joining my Patreon community, and thank you to all of my Patreons. That's the only place where you can watch me live, and thank you for contributing and helping me to stay independent, a YouTuber and a journalist. If you want to join my community, boom, right here, go to patreon.com/e for electric. There's also a link in the description of the video. All right, looking forward towards your comments. Other than that, see you next time, and remember to stay charged.